25 and 30, it's probably 30-year-old. Those very oldest of that regrowth there. And in my opinion, that is getting back fairly close to having some of the properties of that ecosystem did in its natural state. Simply because it's getting, that was what it was like riding around in the scrub when I was a lout. You had that amount of leaf matter on the ground, you had about that sort of grass cover in the scrub. That's getting, in my opinion, fairly close back to, but that is 30-year-old. And as we saw this morning in the chopper, the only bare dirt we saw was in these shelter belts of 20 and 30-year-old stuff. Now we move on out here to the buddy where it was ploughed. I mean, don't get me wrong, we need a balance of this. In this country here, we have about 10 or 15% of our country as these shade lines. And they're strategically located, as in, depends on the waterways and the way the cattle movement in the paddocks and that sort of stuff. That's how we do it. And that on the clay soil, we move out here on a bit more duplex, black type little patch here. I mean, look at the bare dirt we've got here. You know what I mean? Your water sediment, your sediment movement, your bloody water quality is lesser. Now the edge of the blade ploughing. Obviously we've got a 5 metre effect of where the roots are coming out here. Looking at that green line, it might even be a bit more of a 5 metre effect than those bigger trees. It might be 10 or 15 metres by the look of that. Exactly the same country, exactly the same grazing pressure, everything's exactly the same. Now look at our grass cover. Now look at our ground cover. Yes, we've got a few suckers, that's fine. In a grazing system, those sort of level of regrowth and suckers is not a problem in my opinion. But I mean, we've probably got enough of that there for biodiversity and a lot of our natural things, birds, wildlife, insects, that goes on. But I mean, this is the whole concept that I believe we've got to get back into it. It's not about a single definition about getting tied up about deforestation. The whole sustainable question, the whole thing is not only about trees. You know, in some cases I think the trees are probably doing us some damage. You know, when it comes down to water quality, all the sustainability things, full stop. You know, grass cover, ground cover, you've got the Great Barrier Reef. You know, it's a whole picture thing, and that's where I think we've got to get more balance. More balance in our view, rather than total focus on trees, deforestation. We've got to get more of the sustainable stuff, the whole picture stuff going on, in my opinion.